was about.
Yeah. Right, well, it's time for Counter-Strike. No more outrage. Just randomly assembled ambiguous lists with no apparent categorization or meaning. We are into a game with much structure and meaning. Although these two teams are probably searching for meaning as we discussed, they have each had their issues. I think with NiP, it's still well within the honeymoon period with having Dennis in there, and Dennis is... I mean, we've seen what he can do with the team on a short-term basis, but being the leader and so on... He's still leading, right? Dennis is still leading the team.
I have no idea.
Because
I think so.
you can't have anyone else lead the team. So I'm pretty sure it's Dennis.
But people have said that he's not really a leader. I don't know.
Well,
I don't remember who it was that said that, but he's like, Dennis is not an in-game leader.
But nor is anyone else.
Was it a player who said that, or just someone on Reddit?
It was a player. No, it was a player.
Okay.
I just forget which player it was.
Because they have Pitta coaching again now the threat's gone.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, GODSENT trying to make their way into the A site. Pistol round. And so far, NiP are holding things down. And it's just down to Disco Dopplan. And then 1 versus 2. He's picked up a USP. He's got 3 kills. Looking for the ace in the pistol round. The bomb is down on a bomb train. And there may be one CT advisor on it. Nice one tap onto Get Right. And now it's down to Draken. Dancing around the ladder. Swiping around. Looking for even a glimpse of this CT. Is it safe to plant the bomb? If he pushes connector, B is probably safe and he will make the run for it, or will he? Oh, trying to catch him off guard! Looking for the 5th kill. He can plant the back of the A bomb site now, and he will do that. How many bullets does he have in the hole, though? 3 bullets in this gun entirely. He must be aware of this. He's got to be really careful.
Oh.
And he's moving away from all the guns. Oh. So, and if he shoots him through the window, that's not going to do the kill. He's got 1 bullet now. I don't know, man. He must not have known. I don't know. Like, if you have 3 bullets in your gun, I don't think you go up the ladder.
I don't think he knew, because I don't think he would have thought about reloading. Actually, he probably did when he was on the back of the bomb. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's really difficult to say.
Well, we can't tell if he tried to reload because there were only 3 bullets in the gun.
But being in heaven, if he didn't have to shoot right away, like if Draken didn't jump up on the bomb, he could have potentially just waited for a really long time and then waited to just shoot the defuse.
Yeah, the problem is the first shot goes through the glass and doesn't kill him. And then you better hope those other 2 shots do the job. That's a very less than ideal situation, let's say.
Yeah. It's fine, though, because we've moved forwards now. Move forwards, move onwards. Disco Dopplan. AK-47, Kevlar and helmet. That's fun. It's always fun in rounds like this. Especially with a team like GODSENT, lots of hard-hitting players. Yeah. It's been a while since I saw Hampus play, actually.
Yeah, me too.
Quite some time.
Oh, Broland's the young lad, isn't he? He's like 15 or something.
He is, yeah.
Ooh, good damage being done here by the PT-50. Disco Dopplan finding himself Dennis towards the outside as well. Ooh, lining up for him. Disco Dopplan had his crosshair in the right spot, but still could not get the kill. Twist, though, collecting that FAMAS, putting it to good use, has created a 2v2 for his team. And they have the bomb out in the yard, but the off angle for Get Right's very strong. He's got everything covered. Now just have to be careful to use his teammate Rez, who is towards Pop Dog. And Twist is trying to create the 1v1. So he'll do so, but Get Right wins the battle. NiP, they lost a lot of money there, and the bomb did go down. So GODSENT's like AK drop and so on was very effective.
Do you think Counter-Strike, do you think Valve copyrighted the name on the gloves? Whoever was planting the bomb, I noticed that the finger they used to dial had the little Tor 2 on it.
Has the what?
Those gloves are branded, right? It says Tor 2, T-O-R-T-U-E. I'm just wondering if, like, Valve has, you know, copyrighted the brand and so on. Where are we? There we go. Was it these gloves? I think it was those gloves, yeah.
These are pretty nice.
The index finger. If he plants the bomb, you'll see.
What were the Hotline Miami gloves?
I don't know the name. I could find out for you, though. You like them?
Yeah.
Nice. It would be cool with an AWP Lightning as a nice contrast, you know, I think.
I like the AWP Lightning as well.
Me too. Hampus waits for the smoke to disappear. How's he got into this position? Can he capitalize on it? He can. Rez gets exploited. In the words of Stunner, exploitation. Good for me, bad for you. 4 and 4 now around the A site. The bomb in IV with 2 more players in tow. Dennis and Rez picked off. Get right. And the IV position, rattling off some shots through the smoke. In the meantime, Forrest uses the distraction to pick off Freddy B. Dot plan and Forrest gone as well. 2 on 2. Bomb not planted yet. 1 minute on the clock as they look to plant on back train.
Yeah, Red showing himself, but I think they realize position of both players. Draken now coming in from Connector. That rotation actually catching them off guard for the moment. Doesn't get the frag though. Draken may have lost his best opportunities to make this 1v2 happen. The spray comes in, very labored, but still able to somehow get the kill. 1 more to go though, and with just 18 points of health, it's going to be tough, and Twist indeed is going to shut him down. So GODSENT picking themselves up a round quickly.
Man, I feel like Draken should have just reloaded his gun. He actually knew that Twist crossed the sandwich, got that info right away, and then he was risking... I guess he thought that Twist was extremely low because the molly that he threw actually looked pretty good, but it wasn't far enough to stop the plant. So, I guess to him it just looked unlucky. This is quite an interesting force.
Ooh. That's a cheeky peek from Hampus. Again, it is favourable for the CTs, although AWP probably not expected in a round such as this, but I thought he might go for the other pick to somebody trying to run towards Pop Dog, as we mentioned in the train we saw earlier today. Twist tagged with the scout. We'll continue with the sniper rifle for now, and Brilliant's taken some damage as well. So this is not a good situation for GODSENT in a round where they're going to be facing CZs and double scouts. To have 2 players heavily tagged already, this is very losable for GODSENT.
Yeah, Rez has a very nice position with the CZ easy frag against Hampus there, and that makes life very difficult for GODSENT. They're still yet to really burst out of any choke point, and with these NiP players close, and now with an AK collector onto Rez, life gets even more difficult. Now, spotting the rotation is Get Right. The cost will be his life, and GODSENT do have a window of opportunity here to move quickly onto that B bomb site for the plant. And in comes NiP as they start to charge out of the connector. They're actually doing a good job so far, even with a frag, as well as they escape the connector choke point. And GODSENT are in trouble.
Freddy looking for a flick on top of the connector position. That's last man standing now, and it's Rez 1 versus 2. He's begging for a peek. Missed shots may give him confidence. Dropping a flash towards the sidewalk position. Not easy to get on top of that bomb train. He will miss the jump. Trying to avoid getting traded now, but Freddy B will hit the most difficult of shots to finish off the round. GODSENT even the score, and that puts NiP in a nasty economical position. $2,000 per person for the most part.
Do you think it makes it more entertaining to see that you can win like these CZ rounds?
That's a good question. From a spectator point of view, yeah. I suppose it brings more interest to the other rounds, yes. But is it yeah, it's a long conversation. Precision incision from Get Right. He'll get some bonus money in that eco round following the force buy. And that's much needed money as well. Yeah, I think it's you have to say that it does provide more interest because there's more that's possible in the round. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's a discussion which I think is too long for this game. But it's an interesting discussion for sure.
And we get the force buy from GODSENT being reset as they were. Very unlikely round for NiP to win. Nice double dink in Pop Dog with that USP, and now the money looks great for NiP. They just have to secure this round, and it's smooth sailing perhaps from then. Yeah, I do think it's a very interesting discussion point.
There's some very expensive stickers.
There's definitely a lot of merits to creating additional variants as far as like the spectator experience goes. Mm-hmm. We can go to some examples in esports after this, but
on our podcast after this.
Podcast coming soon. Draken takes down Doppler, and that's going to make life a little bit harder for GODSENT. You can see Brolan trying to make his way up alley with the CZ. And they can try to set themselves up for a split, get some damage in, but they have no utility really. Just one smoke from Freddy B, that's it. be very hard to get the bomb down.
That one smoke will sail in towards the connector position, and Rez will not be too disturbed on the bomb train. He's got his 1 versus 1, he's using the structure well, and running distraction in the meantime as Twist tries to find something, anything in this round. Not really hitting the mark with the scout, leaving Freddy with the blue deeg. But there will be no Smurf kills in this round. 4-2 now in favor of NiP. And the money for GODSENT sucks.
Yeah, it's kind of a scary situation with GODSENT now. I feel like NiP are the kind of team that can generate huge amounts of momentum now on the CT side, because GODSENT aren't going to be able to do too much in the near future. And also, it's worth bringing into question exactly, you know, what is the depth like for their T side at the moment on Train. That is something to be seen. And there's all the info for Draken. There's the full rotation.
And that's good, yeah. And they only had 1 flash, so they pretty much used it.
Well, this will be fun for one of these teams, and not so much fun for the other. And there is the round, 5-2 in favor of NiP.
It's hard. People might ask, well, why don't you just always walk? But if you walk, then you risk something getting pushed, like Ivy getting pushed and then the info getting there. So there's other ways that you could give it up, but they took a risk on someone not spotting the lower ramp, which has become very common. But you don't know. Maybe they don't spot it.
Now GODSENT have AKs, yeah, sure, but they only have limited utility to complement the AKs. And this is cool from NiP playing a forward setup, not only on alley with Forrest there, looking for the second, he'll get that one as well, but they have 2 players towards Pop Dog, so if there's a response here, they're going to be dropping into death and destruction, and, well, everybody is dead, except this Godot plan.
That's a great round for NiP to execute, because psychologically speaking, it's just one of those crushing rounds which puts you back in the dirt after some really crappy eco rounds, and I think it's just very unmotivating to get smashed immediately on a buy round when you've waited so long for it, or what will feel like so long. So I think it's really good timing for NiP, which will give them an edge mentally in the rounds to come.
It's really good shooting from Forrest. I asked Robin last time I saw, or Faflaren last time I saw him, what makes Forrest made Forrest so good at CS, and he said that it was just his calmness. His ability to be calm no matter what. And you'd always see that when he shoots.
Well, Disco Dotplan is a player that also has a pretty savage individual level to bring to bear, but nearly damage here. Nope. Completely denied by Dennis. So far, we haven't really seen much in the way of what GODSENT are capable of when it comes to a full buy on the T side. And there is that calmness from Forrest. All tranquil and serene over at the NiP camp.
Oh, tranquil and serene. Like fishing in a pond.
Nice pond. Have you ever done fishing? You seem like a kind of person that would do fishing.
Of course. There are in London there's a place called Walthamstow towards the east, and there are 4 lakes in which you can fish. I never had fishing stuff myself because I was poor, but my friends did. We'd get the fishing rods out, they'd lend me one, sit there with the buzzers, so the line starts moving, the buzzer beeps, and then you've got to fish. My highlight was casting a line out. I got the weight to cast it pretty far. So I cast a line out as a swan was flying past, and it clotheslined a swan which crashed into the bank. That was like my highlight. Didn't catch any fish, but I did technically catch a swan. So that's me. We used to go Battersea Park. There was a pond there, and I would use sweet corn because I was too grossed out to try and put a maggot on the hook. So I never caught a fish ever.
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Well, back to fishing. We've got, in the moment, we've got GODSENT on the pistols. Single flashbang. So far, NiP have been sort of playing aggressively everywhere, just regardless of what the situation is like. This is another one of those rounds. A trade will be set up towards the inner bomb sites, and NiP will slowly but surely be whittling away the GODSENT offense. right now I'm not really seeing anything from GODSENT. What about you? Notice. Are you seeing anything?
No, not very much. They are playing pretty standard. And the last time they won a round, they followed up by getting fully code by NiP, just going outside like fairly dry, fairly standard.
Well, now they are going to have more money to play with, and so we'll get actually a fully loaded situation on the utility. AWP onto Twist. I'd imagine we will see something pick-based. That does tend to be somewhat default on T-side train. So we'll have to see how that goes with GODSENT here. They do take initial map control as they can towards the inner halls. And in fact, actually, most of the team is going to be with that little push.
Ooh. I would expect a slower start from GODSENT because of the push from NiP previously, but now NiP have put a man in A main instead. Maybe expecting such a reaction from GODSENT, so that is quite a compromising position, which GODSENT of course are not aware of, but they've left A main now. So what is the read from NiP as the push starts to come in towards the B bomb site? Get right gets picked off, and there's nobody to trade for him. Draken holding an angle on the high ground, but there are 4 or 5 players on the B bomb sites already.
Yeah, GODSENT managed to catch NiP in a worst possible timing for them. They were repositioning just as that push came in, and it's not gone too well for them. Quick frag there on the lurker outside towards the A side of the map there. Will be encouraging here if Rez can get some work done. He is able to get one though, but with the smoke down, it's going to make life very tough here for NiP to join forces and push forwards, but smoke goes away. Forest is back into the action here. Nice second one, but still one more player remaining. Twist lurking, and he will get the kills. So life has been made quite difficult for NiP there, but they have incredible amounts of money.
So they threw a couple of small fakes there just to try to get it to a 4-1, and then had that, as we talked about how powerful it is, just come down the lower ramp and just pretty dry, just like one flash. As long as that ramp doesn't get mollied, I mean, coming down there is extremely powerful if you know that there's no Opera and Z. So they had one person stay at Ivy, which I think is the best way to try to pull someone out of Z, because it's so far away from inner. You think, all right, well, if there's someone here, there's any presence here, if it's going to be a default for like 30 more seconds, then I don't have to be worried about inner just like right now. But they've used that to get out.
Lots of presence around Popdog for the T side. Rez with an off angle near camera, under camera. Take out Twist, and Dennis has an off angle of his own with Draken. They will eliminate the players, and it is back to a difficult time for GODSENT. Very quickly dispatched of, no answer to any of these kills, and it's looking like a very strong half for NiP.
Do you call that spot that he just played, do you call that Dennis?
That who just played? Dennis?
Yeah.
The off angle on E-box?
Yeah.
I don't have a name for it.
Call it Dennis or FNX.
The problem with
player names
positions based on player names is that most of them have different players. I mean, Olaf is Olaf, right? But
there's Olaf. There's
like
multiple
on Mirage,
Olafs.
a place on A where people call it Get Right, some people call it Scream, so it just gets really confusing.
Yeah, there are stuff like that. But that goes for any call out. There's multiple names for multiple ways to say any name, any call out. And then there's also this wall right here, which I called Dennis. I call this Dennis, and I call the E-box spot FNX.
Yeah, I get confused with some North American callouts. Still getting used to those.
Any comms.
And that combined with like the odd panicky player who just talks really fast, like I just can't decipher any of the language. The bomb has been taken away from GODSENT, and they really needed that bonus cash. Dennis from out of nowhere says no to Hampus. Difficulty for GODSENT, but can they get 5 rounds on the board? Can they give themselves a fighting chance moving into the second half? That's got to be the priority at this point, but they've had so many rounds with just pistols, and even the beginning of this one, pistols and a scout. They haven't had so many buy rounds.
And the last buy round that we saw was they just tried to rush A, got stopped by counter grenades, and then just waited the grenades and then tried to push anyway, and just died one by one, just falling to what was just a very strong outside setup. from NiP. They're going to have to do more than that to be able to deal with that setup. So it's not encouraging so far. What we have is the little we have seen.
I mean, this, like, yeah, like, I don't know. I don't know what a team that plays that simply is thinking when they don't. If you get counter grenaded, then you should try to bait out the grenades. Like if you know if the team knows you're gonna rush a lot, then they're gonna pre-nade. So you wait for those. You can throw a false exec to bait out more grenades. Then you can re-exec. But it doesn't feel like they're bothering to try that, and I don't know why.
That's like the next logical step, isn't it? It's like play the utility game and then try to see how it works, playing like doing mid and late round calls instead. But they are instead just walking to the meat grind. Let's see if this round is any different. I mean, they don't have the greatest utility in the world, but perhaps, man, Res and the auto sniper and the duels. It's quite amusing. I don't know why people complain about the auto sniper, to be honest. Like, it's just a gun in the game.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing to complain about. I mean, if it didn't, like, it's like why, we don't see it all the time, you know.
I think the reason people complain about it is because, like, on the very, very top level, the counter to the auto sniper is the AWP, because it's just one-shot kill. So it's actually like not. It's situationally can be quite strong, but generally speaking, the AWP is better. And in any spot where you want to use the Scar, and you're going to find an AWPer. But on the lower levels of the game, the auto sniper is going to be so much better because it's so forgiving and does so much damage.
It's also really expensive, so it's not like you can just buy it every round, you know.
Yeah, use flashbangs.
You have to earn it. Oh, that's sick.
Dennis up close, and the also sniper can watch his left as it is doing so, or trying to. There is a big train in the way as well, but so far so good, and that will finish things off 11-3 for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Will it be a third fast game here in the European segment of the show today? Seems it is heading that way, but it is a game of two halves. And again, I think we've seen maybe 3 buys from GODSENT. I feel like 3-4 buys or something along those lines. So very limited opportunity to really do anything, much of anything in this half.
Yeah, that kind of tells you a lot about team as well, and how they manage their economy and how they prioritize their buys a lot, and how confident they are in their buys. But this is kind of what GODSENT just wants to do, just run at their opponents. And this time it goes slightly better, but there's still more players to go through. Res on that bomb train doing some damage as the bomb will be tossed around the hell position, and GODSENT start to encroach upon the A bomb train. Res, too many angles to worry about. Dennis can't cover him. But they've actually created a 2v2 now.
I think that smoke was meant to go a little deeper, but it will do the job. Get right dancing, jumping on the bomb train, and he manages to get a kill on Broland. Bad timing for him, unfortunately. That leaves Dopplan alone. Now it's the 1 versus 1. He knows where Get Right is /was, but the Gilil spray will not be kind to him, and the King of Spray will win that last round. 12-3 half. Forest 24-7. Still one of the best.
Still got it. My favorite part was when Rez knew that someone was going to come barreling through the sandwich smoke first, instead of watching like E-Box Cross or Hell or anything like that.
GODSENT on the defensive side now. 4 sets of Kevlar, Twist, Smoke, and a defuse kit. And everybody on NiP will opt for Kevlar. Let's see what they choose to do. No decoy grenades for them. Don't see many on a pistol round, 1 or 2. And they will send the bomb Ivy with 3 players. Looks like a split of the A bomb site. This way they can cut the site in half, make their way through Ivy to the site, and then if they can keep a hold of back bomb train, then just maybe the bomb can go down. And it will quickly, a 5-on-5 bomb plant almost. But Twist will be down to 1 HP and the Forest will be down to 0.
This is quite an interesting spot because almost everyone's coming from back lines here from GODSENT. Let's start to push further forward, and Draken will be the next casualty. Res, isolated, can't get anything. And now it's down to Get Right. I don't know even if... can he actually make it there in time? Looks like he...
Oh, you can see though. Can he see?
Well, no, he... Oh, he actually managed to get him off the bottom.
Oh my god, he could win.
He's got to stay alive though.
No way.
He's got to stay alive because there's a kit. And he can't do it. So many players There's a prolonged period that he had to try and not get killed for. So GODSENT will win a pistol round. Much needed, desperate pistol round from GODSENT. They've opted for the big guns immediately. 3 M4s coming out to play.
I think that was just like really unexpected for NiP that everyone was coming from the back lines, because GODSENT sort of really took fights together, and I think it was all like 2v1s at least, so they did really well from that perspective. And we get almost the near full save indeed.
Seems Draken's run out of toilet paper.
Yeah.
He's got no squares to spare.
Does his toilet paper have puppies on though? That is the question.
Would you wipe your butt with dogs?
I can't say I've ever tried to do that, Launders. But you know, some people have cute things on their toilet paper.
Well, hold on a moment. NiP have managed to find some damage here. An M4 stolen away, and a smoke grenade as well. A minute to go, so there is definitely work to be done here by NiP. And remember, this was essentially a full save for them. They are getting AKs next round no matter what happens here. So this becomes too much of an issue here for now for GODSENT. They need to shut this down. They can't lose any more money. And life does not look too fun here right now for NiP. Ooh, that was so close. Imagine if he gets that kill. Gerright's still able to get out onto the yard though, but not for free. Round goes to GODSENT, but 2 players died for it. And now comes the AKs.
It would be an interesting case study to see in those situations where like one kill clearly would change the round completely and almost goes their way. Like they get the drop on them, they hit the first shot, they don't get the kill. How many of those rounds add up? And how much of an impact would they have on games if you looked at all of them? It's a hard thing to measure though.
Twist on the early sniper rifle. Freddy B being entrusted with the B bomb site. See the Mag 7 and the pop dog there. Roland trying to find some good timing with the smoke grenade towards B. And follow up with a HE behind it in case of a burst. But his timing is off. If he jumps on his spindle or spool, he will be in for a nasty surprise. 3 people seen on the upper area, dancing around Oil now, trying to stay alive, but he can't find a kill. The Mag 7 unable to find a flank onto GODSENT. And that's a pretty solid start for NiP here on the B bomb site. The CT's moving through connector now.
Yeah, big kill from GODSENT. I mean, it's risky, but now he can actually flank if he wants to, or they can just be certain that no one will be coming from that position. So really strong spot for NiP to play off of. We can see that they'll be defending pretty effectively here. Forrest, Dennis, easy does it. Another round for NiP. And this was a very simplistic situation for them. They had very low utility. They just ran a very simple push into the B bomb sites, and that was that. They made it look really easy.
Yeah, they literally walked until they made contact upper. I mean, they didn't even jump out. They walked as far as they possibly could until they made contact. And that's always very powerful. Again, upper is extremely powerful to get out of if you can, as long as no one's watching. If someone's watching it, it's hard to. But once you're out, it feels like it's over.
3 Ts moving up or towards Ivy with the bomb in tow. Currently positioned for an A split. There are 4 CTs here. TVs falling off the wall. Bullets being sprayed in that position. GODSENT falling back to the showers, making sure he has a line in case anybody's flanking through the B area. Doesn't want to go and clear it on his lonesome. He's got 2 jobs to do. In the meantime, Dennis picking Hampus off towards Ivy. Now Rez starts to move in with a distraction, catching Twist in an awkward position, and there's no trade here from the CT side, and Rez almost eliminates 3. Roland being picked off as well, but GODSENT says a trade. That leaves Doplan alone with 6 HP versus 4 players. And it seems that train might be a non-starter for GODSENT.
Yeah, definitely. It just seems like when we watched Fnatic just moments ago that you know that they can do more, but you're just not sort of seeing it. Although Fnatic had just come back from China, so they were very jet lagged, so they have that excuse. But
Yeah.
But
Wait, were GODSENT at WSG? Or there would originally be 1 Swedish team, right? Or no, is that true?
I'm actually not certain.
I will
so-
check. Because if they're
Nice.
jet lagged, then... Because that would have cleared up so much confusion for the last game, right?
Yeah, yeah, we only realized afterwards. Okay, well, quick smoke there into the yard, I think, between Bomb Train and Connector from Reds. Not really baiting anything out from the CTs just yet, though. And on top of the train, Twist will use that CZ to good effect. Going in again for another one, and that is guns galore for GODSENT as Twist collects the AK-47s and puts NiP in a weird position now. They need to get something going for themselves. And there's not all that much happening on the map for them at the moment. No one really in a position for a play.
Get right, really looking for that late opportunist information as the smoke went off in the IV position. Then it's pulling one away, and he will take the attention of Twist, who has to be careful of the peek from Get Right, who peeks just before I can even say that, but Twist is ready for it. Get Right missing the spray. Nice flick from Draken, but not really hitting a fatal connection there. And it's an ace from Twist, killing everybody around the A site.
GODSENT were at WSG, so
Okay.
they just got home.
So they're also jet lagged.
CZ boys. He should have been dead here though, but rare miss from Get Right. Again, I wonder how much that now that the first bullet always fires a tracer and the guns that do fire tracers, I would imagine that it would end up making a significant impact on scenarios such as that. You will immediately see where you're being shot from.
You know, I've always used tracers, so I didn't really notice the update. Like when I shoot.
Well, it used to be every third shot, but now, well, it still is, but it begins with the first shot, which I guess it began at the third shot. But in that kind of scenario where you see that tracer immediately, I mean, that can help make the difference between a kill or a death.
Are you making a difference, James?
I'm always making a difference.
What just happened there?
Freddie really trying, well, it was very brazen what he was trying to do.
Did he know that he fell off the train?
Who knows, but we will have to move on, and so will they. Twist, once again, he's a problem. They're lining up for him. And I was going to say he might be on for another race, but Dotplan has taken that opportunity away from him. He'll be good for 4.
5, then 4. Yeah. Not bad, not bad. Not bad, Twist. Just keeping it alive single-handedly.
Refuses to join him and won't let them pass.
I mean, obviously if not for this, Twist doing this incredible damage from this position, NiP had a massive advantage, like moving into the yard. They'd actually already gotten the opening kills, and it was just Twist left. And very unlikely he gets 3, but he somehow does. And look how important the round is as well. I mean, NiP now have no money, so GODSENT, thanks to Twist, are in a great position, but he can't let Dennis go for that kind of business with the Deagle. To come for Draken.
I know that girl. On the M4. Good friend of mine.
Can't be friends with an anime, James.
You're the one wearing the t-shirt. 7-14. GODSENT in a good position to continue this comeback. The M4 on to Get Right. The only man with Kevlar. There's a smoke onto Draken. Perhaps the smoke can create space, but it seems that Brolan wants him to feel claustrophobic. Moving into the bomb site. Perhaps there is a read on what might be happening, although there are 2 GODSENT players towards the IV position. Rotation will be long. Get Right looking for a player out of place, but won't find that anytime soon. Sound being made, maybe trying to suggest they're in the pop dog, but almost time to move. There's a flashbang, there's a Molotov there already though, so it seems GODSENT are non-believers in a pop dog play, and now we've got a quick rotation as the other 2 players have moved into connector.
Brolan trying to do good work there, does enough damage. Twist from the back, following up pretty effectively. Not too much to be done for NiP. No bomb plant for them either, which is pretty critical. A bomb plant would have made a pretty nice difference on their ability to buy grenades, full grenades for everybody, but can they afford anyway? I don't know if they can. No, they can't get full nades, but close enough. It's hard to see GODSENT coming back here, but we'll have to see exactly how this round goes. What NiP have plans.
So those are the tier 1 smokes that it feels like you can you throw these almost every single round, and they're almost always useful, whether or not you use the smokes or not. Whether it's going to be a fake towards B, a re-exec outer, because either if you go B, you bait out retake grenades, which are so important for B. If you go A, you bait out all the grenades that you might have to run through in T-Con. There's so many reasons why you just throw them.
Roland put to the test again on the B-bomb train. Lots of time being bought though as the T start to rush up towards the connected position. GetRight, of which is leading that charge, and he'll be doing so excellently well. Quick headshot for him, and all of a sudden, GODSENT have a wedge driven between them called GetRight, as he is just put to work, doing more damage with the help of Draken. And Disco Dotplan though somehow managed to find his way around the side in a very sneaky fashion. But it's all NiP in this round. Do you like what you see, James?
You asking me if I'm biased to NiP?
No, just do you like what you see?
I love Counter-Strike.
That's great.
Match point for Ninjas in Pajamas.
Would you say it was your top 50 games of all time?
Yeah, it's definitely in my top 50.
Oh my god. That list really annoyed me.
I have more to say on that list, but after the game. 15-8 in favour of Ninjas in Pajamas, and that puts 2 of the GODSENT players on pistols. Freddy B and Broland Deagle and CZ75 respectively. NiP looking for aggression, smelling desperation. Sweaty back of the neck for GODSENT. Moving into the A site now, Freddy B taken down immediately, and Rez trying to show Twist how it's done on the T side. Twist still alive though, and he might be a problem, although he'll likely be neutralized. Only 2 players versus 5. Taking shots through the smoke towards Ivy, and there's a player waiting for him. And now Twist is alone, 1 versus 4, trying to take down Rez, but Rez says no. 4K for Rez in that last round, and that's a pretty solid scoreline versus GODSENT in the first of 2 matches between these 2 teams.